Well, welcome back to Stories by Tim. It's daytime this time that I'm doing this, so I'm using natural lighting. So it's a little different lighting aspect of things. Um, and because my schedule got changed for today, I'm doing this in the morning rather than at night. So today, um, in honor of Western Michigan being ranked number one in hockey, and having seen a number of their games over the years, I want to relate a few of the stories I have about being at Western Michigan. Did I go to Western Michigan? No. I never attended a class there. Uh, my ex, Kristen, she was the one that attended, and she was down there for 7 years. And I would be down there at least every other weekend. There were sometimes I'd be down there every weekend, but it was at least every other weekend. And so I was kind of like an honorary student, I guess you might say, even though I never took a class there. Um, but there's a lot of stories I have from those years that would be amazing to talk about, and I'll get to them eventually, I'm sure. But with what I said to begin with, um, I saw some of the best hockey games in my life at Western. There are two that I remember very well. The first one was against Michigan State, and there I forget exactly what started the brawl. I remember players coming off the bench, and by the time the referees figured out everything, there were more players in the penalty box than there were on the bench. Uh, it was just an amazing game. Western did win that game. The other game that I remember very well was one against the University of Michigan, and it was standing room only. And they played very hard that game. At the end of regulation, the game was tied and it went into overtime. And Michigan scored with 5 seconds left in the overtime. It, Western played well enough to win that game. Michigan did beat them, and it was just amazing. But going to those games, the support that the student body, the fans had for Western was just absolutely amazing. I mean, you had the band there. Um, I learned from there. I learned Western's fight song, and I could sing it for you now, but I'm not going to because I've got this cold that I'm fighting, and it would just not sound very good. Um, but anyway, they it was amazing the support that they had for that team. I've been to several football games there as well. Never saw a baseball game there though. That's maybe something we could have done. Uh, but it was amazing. I got to know that campus inside and out. Like I said, I was there, at least every other weekend. Here's a fun story. My first car, um, I'm not going to say what exactly it was because, that can be used for identity theft. Um, but it basically looked very similar to the car in Wayne's World. Same color. So one day, uh, this would have been the second year there that she was there. She and her roommate, oh no, it wasn't her roommate. She had a different roommate then. But her several of her friends, we had five of us in the car, and we rolled all the windows down in the car, and we drove around campus doing the Bohemian Rhapsody. And yes, just like in the movie. It was I will never forget that day. That was one of my better ideas that I've had, and we just had a ball doing it. We were laughing. We were having a great time. It was amazing. Um, yeah, like I said, she was there for 7 years, and in her fifth year, her friends were getting ready to graduate, and that their last year there were four girls and one guy that were in a house together on Vine Street down there. Um, that house is still there. They have not done anything to that house. It was a crap home then. It's a crap home, I'm sure, still now. But student rentals. What can you do? Um, but out of that house, um, the guy who lived there, he was the best man at my wedding. Um, One of the girls that lived there was our maid of honor. You know, um, we developed very, very strong friendships with the people that were there. Um, Kristen and I are not really, and this is going to come as a surprise to some of the people that are going to watch this, are not really outgoing people. Um, we tend to stay pretty close to the chest with things. We don't develop friendships or in that very easily. Um, where we're gonna call you up and say, "Hey, let's go hang out somewhere." That's just not in our nature to do. We've both talked about it and agree that's not who we are. So we have a very tight network of friends, I guess you would say. I'm trying to get better about that. Um, the man who was best man at my wedding, unfortunately, just passed in January. Uh, and going to his funeral opened my eyes about a few things that, you know, all the stories that came out about him and how open he was and how friendly he was and how much he would just call up people on a whim and talk to them is making me rethink, this is how I want to be remembered. This is how it should be. I shouldn't wait to call you up and talk to you. But so at Western Michigan, they have an auditorium there, Miller Theater, and they would have movie nights there. And I think it was when we went and saw Dracula. Yeah, the Dracula with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. Um, and uh, I forget what it was that made BJ laugh, but his laugh was iconic. He had a laugh that would shake the room. It was that loud. Uh, and anyway, I forget if it was something I said, if it was something one of our other friends said, but it set him off and he laughed. And from another part of the auditorium, there was a shout, "Shut up, BJ!" That's the kind of guy he was. Nicest guy in the world. He'd give you the shirt off his back without you even asking him to. And I do miss him. That was a hard funeral to go to. Um, I have more BJ stories, but once again, stories for another day. Anyway, back to Western. Um, I got to see a lot of neat things there. Um, I got to see a performance of Evita before Madonna did the movie version with Antonio Banderas. And that just blew me away. I mean, Andrew Lloyd Webber, um, I know he's kind of done some weird things over the years. Had some what we call non hits, I guess. One of my favorites, truthfully, is Aspects of Love. I also Sunset Boulevard. I think both of those are very underrated. And I just saw that Sunset Boulevard is making a revival. So I'm kind of hoping it hits better this time because both of those are very, very good stories. But anyways, yeah, Evita blew me away. I was like wasn't expecting what I actually saw. Um, yeah, to this day I still want to play Juan Perón, but that's you know I'd love to play Che, but that's a little outside my um, level of expertise, I guess you would say, as far as theater goes. Uh, but Juan Perón, I think I could pull off, especially now that I'm getting a little older. That's kind of stuff that I've got to keep in the back of my head is what roles can I do? What roles can I do? But Kristen was part of the grand chorus when she was in music school. That's what she originally went for. And grand chorus, I'd have to say there were at least 100 singers in it. And the first year she was there, they did a mass, and um, and then of course they did holiday songs because it was in December when they did this. But the mass is what I'm gonna remember for a long time. I actually have a copy of that downloaded to my other laptop, um, and the first performance they did of that was at a church, a stone church in Grand Rapids. The acoustics in there were amazing. It gave you chills. My hair stood up on my arms when they were singing. That's how good it was. And uh, it just blew me away how much talent there was on that in that performance. Um, Kristen was a soprano, um, but the soloists that they had for that, absolutely amazing. They had adult soloists that came in that I don't know if they were professors, if they were just guests. I don't know, but um, yeah, just an amazing experience. They performed it the next week at the auditorium, and while it was good, it just didn't have that same feel. Probably because it was a larger area, and it wasn't as yeah. Everybody hi say hi to Jinx. Um, it just didn't have that same feel as the first performance. It was still good, but it wasn't quite the same. And then the next year they did kind of operatic thing with the story of David, um, which was good, but it didn't match the previous year. Um, I don't know what she would say about it. I don't think she enjoyed it as much as she enjoyed doing the mass, but it was an interesting performance. I enjoyed it, but like I said, it wasn't as good as the previous year. Oh, man, what other stories can I tell right now about that? Um, all right, there is a pizza place down there called Bilbo's Pizza. Unfortunately, the original location, the university bought the property that it was on, and it is no longer there. They've now moved out to, oh gosh, what is the name of that avenue? Out by Sweetwaters, anyway. So, brand new building. We went there a couple years ago with the kids, and it's still the same pizza, but not the same feel to it. The original, just it felt like going into something from Middle Earth, and the artwork on the walls, the whole atmosphere, just you know made you feel like you were there in Middle Earth, in Inhabitant. So it's yeah, I feel for the 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 students, the alumni that went to Western Michigan that have been to some of these places and now they're no longer there because the university is expanding and building new things there. There was actually a bar on campus, pretty much, and that's no longer there. That's actually where my ex had her first drink. Um, and yeah, it's you know, I'm all for universities getting better and expanding and things like that, but to get rid of some of the iconic things that students will remember for years, that kind of hurts. That kind of hurts. Uh, um, yeah, a lot of good memories. Even though I never went there, I went to CMU for a year, and I still do not know their fight song. I never went to Western, and I know theirs. If that tells you what kind of an impact Western made on me, um, yeah, I could drive around that campus with my eyes shut. That's how much I was there. It was it was a good experience. It was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I have a lot of more stories from those years, those 7 years that I will share at some point. Um, but no, so bye, Jinx. Yes, meow. But yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, so I got a call from my boss yesterday. Said, "Hey, would you mind coming in and close tonight? Switch shifts with me because we got corporate coming in, and I've got training I got to get through and all that." I'm like, "Not a problem, not a problem." I had originally requested this evening off because I had um, auditioned for a show. No, Jinx is back. Um, and Jinx, come on. Thank you. Um, Unfortunately, I did not get cast for that show, but I took time off because we have to do our requests off ahead of time. So I requested the days that I could potentially have rehearsal off. Um, so yeah, I had no problem switching today. They, whenever I've requested something, they've taken care of me. So when I can, and it's I hook them up and take care of them too. It's a two-way street with me. Um, so there's some advice for some of you younger viewers. Um, Take care of your company, and they in return will usually take care of you. They may not always be able to do it, just like you won't always be able to take care of them. But on the whole, if you do it on a regular basis, they're more likely to take care of you when you need something. It goes hand in hand. But I'm kind of looking forward to tonight. I've got to close today. I've got to close tomorrow. I got to close again on Sunday. I do have Saturday off, so I'm hoping for good weather because I got stuff I need to get done outside. That's the reason why I'm sitting here doing this right now instead of being outside because it is 36 degrees right now and it's got a light rain outside. You know, Mother Nature, go home, you're drunk. It's spring in Michigan. We shouldn't be having 36 degrees outside and snow. Uh, Michigan, you gotta love it. Don't like the weather. Wait 5 minutes, right? So anyway, but shout out to the Broncos. Go Brown. Let's. I want to see them win the Final Four, the Frozen Four. That will be amazing for them to be national champions. I really wish the best of luck to them for, because I've rooted for their hockey team for a long time. So it's very nice to see them there. So go Western. Fight on, fight on.